Hey, hey, we've made it.
Yeah, congratulations. That was a really fun and very informative day.
Yay! I'm so glad. Cheers to that.
Yes.
I wasn't kidding. I'm having wine. Are you?
Yeah, well, wine is not the type I'm having.
No, I know. I thought about like something stronger, but it's.
Nutty.
Playing.
No, I mean it was. It went so great, Jade Alyssa. Thank you so for all your hard work. I thought it went really, really well. It was awesome. We had so much fun, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I was so stoked on the legislator panel.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That was so great.
I also thought actually the virtual lunch was actually really interesting to me.
Yeah, it was
Because
cool.
It was very cool getting to see all those people, doing stuff, and it was really nice. But I'm trying to remember. Let me look at my calendar because I know I made notes on my calendar.
And we've got another visitor with us for no video. Agatha is here. Thank you for joining us. I hope you can chat with us. Tell us how did you. Hey, hello. Did you enjoy the day? Was it helpful, informative? I actually enjoyed it.
Good.
It's been a pretty intensive day. Yeah. I know. I'm exhausted. I'll tell you. I am doing this. If you can, I don't know. Can you see us? Yay. Okay, good. And yeah, no, it was. I don't know. There were so many cool highlights.
Yeah, they were. I have to hop off actually right at 5.
Oh, you do?
But yeah, because my meeting starts right at 5. I was told that I have to open up the meeting because I'm the one that.
Oh shoot! Well then you're just hey. There's Rick.
But I wanted to play something.
Edmund's gonna bring us some music before he has to pop at 5. So, all right. And Ben, come on. So yeah. Edmund Velasco, Californians for the Arts.
Mr. Stein.
Here's the Blues Brother. Cheers. Ching. Awesome. I know you love a good martini.
Mm-hmm.
And Edmund's gonna
2 at the most. With 3, I'm under the table. With 4, I'm under the host.
Hey, Rick, you'll like this.
All right. Good one. So, Edmund, are you gonna play us some tunes before we have to go? You have to go?
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not going
yeah.
anywhere.
Oh, I want to. But Rick, check this out.
All right. I don't see anything but me.
Are you having some bubbles, Jade Alyssa? You having some champagne? Yes, you should. Great job. Cha-ching!
Yeah, great job.
How do I see the rest of you?
You go to a gallery view.
Gallery view. Ben is trying to connect to audio, so we'll still wait on Ben. There were we're early. It's only 3 minutes to 5. I like the early. Oh, you just turned off your video. Oh, there you are.
So this song I wrote because I hadn't written a song probably in about 3 years for my group, and it's just because I've been busy doing a lot of other things. So let me see if this is going to work.
It's so awesome.
Ben,
are you not someone who's able to be on video? Then say hello in the chat box if you can.
There we go. Here we go.
This is so frustrating. Woohoo!
That was awesome. Oh, wait, no, I'm not paused. I'm muted. That was fantastic. Thank you, Edmund. I wish everyone could enjoy it who's coming on. I think there were 47 people who signed up for virtual happy hour. I was like, that's right on. And
I gotta go, but hey, congratulations on a great day.
thank you. That was so fun. It was good. We pulled it off. Yay!
Yay!
We have a model for Virtual Arts Advocacy Day. Hopefully we'll never have to use again, but at least we know it's possible. So,
Right.
Edmund, thank you. I'm sorry for those who didn't get to hear Edmund just play his saxophone, but he's got to go to another meeting, which is terrible.
I know. Well, that's my life these days. So
It was cool.
Oh, come on, Edmund, give us a little riff from Amazing Grace that you did at our Hearts of
gosh. Then I really have to go because I think I'm going to be late.
So
Yay,
Edmund
there she is.
performed at our Orange County Arts Awards. Here we go.
Play us out, or play yourself out.
Yay!
Thank you.
I'll see you.
My
That's
favorite
awesome.
instrument.
Mine
It's
too.
beautiful.
Thank you.
How many times did I like hold myself back from crying today? I can't even tell you.
It's okay to
like-
cry now.
I know,
Hi,
because I was like,
Karen.
did you see me? I got emotional at one point during the legislators because I was like, this is so awesome to have these champions. And they were so eloquent and wonderful. Weren't they great?
They were great, yeah.
They were so great. And I think it was really, I don't know everybody who's joining us. And if you guys have any comments you want to share, you just speak up. This is all we're doing here. We're just sharing and hanging out. But for me, it was just, I was hoping that what it was is it kind of demystified like meeting a legislator and seeing that they're just regular people who, and they're so in our corner. And I think that hopefully that's reassuring and comforting for everyone. So.
Although I really, I had to laugh when you said that, you know, lobbyists are people too, but Ben Allen was, well, some of them.
I know. I know. I was wondering if Jason was listening. I have to text him, our lobbyist, and make him. Hey, Keisha.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
Going well. Going well.
Good. Nice to see you. Keisha's also on our board, Californians for the Arts, and Edmund, who was just playing, he's also on our board, but he had to go to another meeting, unfortunately. Hello, welcome to all the folks. And if you have video, share your video and show us what you're up to. And if you are someone who can sing or play an instrument, you are welcome to grace us with your talents.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Rick. Nice to see you.
Same here.
I recognized you even though you're trying to be sly under those shades and hat.
He's a blues brother.
Hi, Karen Killebrew.
Hey, there they are. I see folks I know. Hi, welcome. How's everybody doing? Yeah, if you can turn on your video so we can see you and introduce yourself. I've got my glass. I told you I'd have a glass of wine. I got my glass of wine. We made it through Virtual Arts Advocacy Day. Woohoo!
This
Here, here.
reminds me of Romper Room. Hi, Julie and Karen and Rick.
That's awesome. So yeah, let's see. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? Awesome. And let's see, I got to scroll over. Chard, and I don't know you, Susan. Hi, Susan. And Camilo, I don't know you. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Yeah, I was here last year at the Capitol, and so I'm glad to join you this year.
Awesome. Were you able to participate in some of the sessions today?
I did. Thank you. It was great.
excellent. Yeah, it turned out all right.
I've got my water bottle.
What's that?
I've got my water bottle.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's beverage of your choice, for sure. For sure. Whatever works for everybody. Yeah. So this is all we're doing. We're just going to hang out, drink together, whatever it is, and maybe share some reflections if anyone has anything they'd like to share from today.
Yeah, I'd like to share being secretary for a group of 30 organizations in the arts and music. I'm going to send all the recordings to each one of our members through our electronic newsletter. So this has been a wonderful day. Thank you.
Oh, terrific. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. They should be up. I think we'll get them up by tomorrow. That's our goal. They'll be on the Virtual Arts Advocacy Day page, and we'll send an email to everyone who signed up today as well for that information. But that's great. Thank you. Anybody else like to share anything highlights from today or anything? Anything?
Julie, thank you so much. I know your team worked really hard to pull this together because you didn't want to lose the momentum from last year, which was so awesome. And I think we just really needed this right now. And Sarah Weber, Association of California Symphony Orchestras. I probably should have said that. And I just wanted to say, I really liked the session with our elected leaders. It was so nice to hear, well, first of all, it was very humanizing to sort of see them hanging out in their homes with their cats and their beds, and they're the same as us. They're dealing with the same stuff. But also just that they get it. I mean, they get the impact, and they get what the arts are contributing and will continue to contribute through this crisis. And they didn't hold back. I mean, they were pretty honest about how difficult it's going to be, but they also really saw that we're not this sort of separate little piece over here, that we're part of the national recovery and resilience path. And I really liked that they got that. And I feel like they're going to be great champions for us as we sort of navigate what's going to be some, difficult paths forward. So that was great. That was
I
really
agree with you.
great.
I felt the same way. This is Camilo Landau. I'm the president of the San Francisco chapter of the Recording Academy.
Oh, very cool.
I thought it was really great to hear, for example, the speaker talking about the WPA as a possible source of inspiration going forward, and also the knowledge and thoughtfulness that they had about the arts community and arts in general and what it means and why it's so needed. So that was great. That was great to hear that. Hopeful. We feel hopeful about the future.
I was so impressed with Sydney Kamlager, Assemblymember Kamlager. I'd never heard her speak before. I'd heard all the guys who were wonderful champions, but there's something that really stuck to me that she said at the top. And she said, beauty, education, and empathy is the currency of our time. I loved that. She was very inspirational.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll cry now, Julie.
Yes,
I'm Angela.
Like weepy.
I'm Angela, and I'm steeped in the local arts agency, state-local partnership, but I'm an independent now. So,
other people want to share? What was your impression?
I appreciated too the opening fun times too. It made me smile because yesterday I was kind of like, oh, what is the future going to hold? And today it was like, oh, good things are ahead. It just reminded me of the hopefulness and for the future. So thank you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it was fun. We started, if you weren't on the 10 a.m. session, we started with a land recognition, which was beautiful. And I live in a town called Nevada City, California, and our tribal secretary for the Nisenan was able to participate, and she then did a song in Nisenan, which there's only 147 remaining members of the Nisenan indigenous tribe, and so they've been actually learning their language, relearning their language, and so it was beautiful, and it was like a welcoming of spring. And then we did poetry from Molly Fisk, who just did this incredible anthology of California Fire and Water, and it includes kids' poems as well around sort of the impact of fires and earthquakes and things that are happening. This was pre-COVID. And that's really a beautiful anthology. I made a great art drawing lesson with Arts Are Essential as the prompt with Cynthia Huerta. And then Miss T out of Sacramento got us dancing. I have never chair danced so hard in my life. Awesome. It was awesome. And then it got me all set for like the 11 a.m. And I'm like, oh wait, get back into mode of like business professional. I can't be dancing at James Brown. But it was a good way to start things, because gotta have some arts in our, I mean, for God's sakes, isn't this what we're about, right? So we gotta start off with some arts. So anyway, yeah. Hey Bean, how are you? I see you there. How's it going? Can you unmute yourself, maybe?
It's going great, and I want to second that I did some chair dancing and then got up and decided it would be more fun if I was actually moving instead of sitting in my chair, because I figured I'd be doing that most of the day.
Right on.
I'm sorry I'm late to the party here, but I just wanted to congratulate you on a really excellent, very interesting day of sessions, and really appreciate what you've done and all the people you brought together to make this happen today. I really learned a lot between this and your last webinar that I didn't have a chance to give you feedback on as well. But I probably speak for others here. We really appreciate that you put so much time and energy into making this happen today. So thank you for that.
Don't make me cry.
Okay.
I'm such a weepy 53, almost 53. I'll be 53 next week, year old woman. So, you know, this is what I do. But yeah. So others who, let's see, who haven't we heard from? Who's this? I don't know. Oh, Colton, I see you post a lot. I don't know if I've met you before. So hi, Colton. Would you introduce yourself and share who you are?
Yeah, I'm Colton Dennis from Merced. I'm the executive director for the Merced County Arts Council, and we have the Multicultural Arts Center here. And yeah, I've been hanging out all day,
Awesome.
and it's been a great and very informative webinar. And I think actually really successful. It's amazing how, you know, even though we're physically distancing ourselves, but how we're still so interconnected. And you know, I thank God for like Zoom, you know, thank God for these things that we have. And I have never really used Zoom until I had to, until this whole crisis hit. And it's really come in handy. We've had, you know, readings of plays, and we've gotten together just to create, have creative sessions to discuss what our next steps and stuff using Zoom. And it's just nice to have that face-to-face interaction. It's not the same, but it's pretty close. And but so thank you for organizing this. And you know, it's nice to see so many people that, you know, we're all, you know, advocating for the same thing. We're all in this thing together and trying to stay afloat and seeing what our next steps are, and you know, making that point that the arts and artists are essential. Especially at this time. I think that's so evident now, how much the arts are needed in our communities when it's not as accessible anymore, at least in arts venues. You know, I have a black box theater space, I have galleries, I have arts classes, and had to cancel everything, and everything's up in the air until, you know, things, you know, that 6 steps or 6 points that the governor laid out yesterday or earlier today, and we'll see where that leads us, and continue on.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it was great to hear from our other advocacy organizations as well. Sarah's here from AXO, and to introduce everyone. I think we haven't had any chance, obviously, because we've just gone from one session to the next all day. I think we had like 15, and I'll tell you, one of the things I learned is that you build in a little bit of time in between, which I didn't do in the morning, but which is, we haven't had a chance to really review who's signed up. And about, I think the last count was like 350 people registered. And so, yeah, it's good. You know, I mean, we would love to see that be 3,500 people someday, right? You know, like we want to get that arts advocacy tent be much, much larger, but I'm guessing a lot of the folks were new, right? New to advocacy. And I think that that's so important. There you are.
I'm new.
Yeah, right on. Welcome, welcome. And or maybe some of us have been doing it for a while, but like needed the sort of, again, to reminder or focus or whatever it may be, and coming back together again. And so that's exciting to see people engage in that way. And it is interesting to use this medium. It's challenging. It's nice to have, we intersperse these meetings. We did the virtual lunch gathering in this where we could see each other. It's very weird that you basically just look at yourself a lot all day long. And so, yeah. And then somebody posted a photo and I was like, I look like that? Oh my God. Like a Picasso painting at one point. But yeah, anyway, it was great. So more comments. I'd love to hear from folks. You're tired of hearing from me. So yeah.
I'm Chard Gonzalez. I have a dance company and dance teacher. I've done these in person, in years past, and these types of meetings often feels like just a lot of preaching to the choir, and it's like, yeah, okay, I know, we need to do these things, and we need to get better at doing these things, etc. This didn't feel like that at all. This was really inspirational. It was informative. I think the timing was great. Even the morning when we didn't have much time in between the couple sessions, I thought the timing was excellent. It was just put together really well. Again, inspired and happy to see the fruition of what happens next. So as everybody,
Where's next?
By the way, there's also, and then there's more.
No, just kidding.
So I'm excited for the next, whatever happens next.
Thank you so much. Ben Kuttner, I see you there. Will you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Sure. I'm Ben Kuttner. I'm also from the Association of California Symphony Orchestras, along with Sarah Weber.
Awesome.
There's two of us here. The main takeaway I had today that I just want to thank you all for was keeping it so positive and upbeat. Because we've been on, all of us have been on so many webinars lately, and I think they all have a tendency to dwell often on the very dark aspects of this and the very negative aspects. While that's certainly called for now, and there's no ignoring that, today was very refreshing because it was very forward-looking and it was very bright and upbeat. And I think it's important not to just let the negative aspects of this get in the way of what we can actually do right now to plan on the fact that we're all in this together. There are people advocating for us. There's stuff we can do. So I just want to thank you for keeping it so positive.
That's terrific feedback. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Brendan, you are a man with lots of words. Excellent words. You're a good op-ed writer. We just did a workshop on op-eds. Will you join us and
Sure. Just unmuted. Yeah. Actually, I'm seeing that Roger has put his mask on via whatever painting that is. So I had put together my own mask. Yeah. There's that.
What does it say? Trump incompetent protection mask. Yeah, we're not getting partisan.
No, not at all. So I wanted to, no, it was great. It was nice to got to participate in a couple of sessions with a couple of assembly members, Kenson Chu and then Mark Stonestaffer down in Monterey, Santa Cruz area. I'm here in San Jose with San Jose Jazz. So we do a summer jazz festival and music education programs throughout the year, and a smaller winter festival and a lot of presenting sort of work. So was fortunate, got to participate last year with Advocacy Day and made the trip up to Sacramento, and I had a great time. And I think, to people's points, I think keeping the momentum going is so important, and figuring out a way in this context to get it done and gather all of us and kind of connect. I mean, I think I maybe know 2 people here on the group, so it's wonderful to see new faces and new people, and just have the sense of that others out there across the state that are working hard to keep the role of the arts in each of our communities vibrant and a part of the community dialogue. It's encouraging because it certainly at times feels daunting. But I'll let
I'm Amanda. I'm his wife.
Amanda.
I still work in the arts.
Yes, no, so I was in my head, I was like, Andrea, I'm like,
Sorry. we are actually part of a new group called San Jose Arts Advocates, and we were able to speak on behalf of that group today when we were talking to Assemblymember Chu, and so that was great to be able to share our new group with him, and hopefully there more groups like this come together throughout the state in other areas. But I've visited Assembly members a couple times as a previous board member of with Keisha there at California Association of Museums. So this was interesting to do it through Zoom. So it was actually nice, and it felt intimate still. I think that was, and it gave people the opportunity to speak, each person, right, instead of one speaking for all kind of thing.
So to be clear, so when people signed up for the virtual Arts Advocacy Day, the concept was that we were going to have everyone assigned a captain from our 24 board members and then make legislative visits in the afternoon, visits via Zoom. The reality of that was that many of my board members who are very, very active in their communities throughout the state as advocates regionally were so busy trying to get their own work accomplished so that it really just wasn't realistic for us to make that happen for everybody on April 15th. And so there were certain board members like Ron, who led, I think, the delegation from San Jose, and we had, I think Rachel did some meetings today from Alameda County. So some people did actually make phone calls directly to their legislators today, like we would have normally if we were in Sacramento visiting. But I want to just let people know, in terms of Brendan's comment too about like the momentum, is that we're going to keep that. We're going to actually rename what that's called in terms of it not being just a sign up for Virtual Arts Advocacy Day, but that it is a sign up so that we can capture everyone and where they are and then start to assign them regionally, right? And so you have wonderful model happening in San Jose with your leadership of San Jose Arts Advocates. We have some of those, like Arts for LA, incredible. In Los Angeles County, we have Bay Area, Arts for Better Bay Area and Bay Area Arts Alliance in San Francisco. We've got them here and there, and many of our arts councils act as the advocacy organizations, commissions, et cetera, or most of the arts councils. So, but what we're trying to do is formalize that a bit more. And so that we can really activate regionally, because as I think one of the most, there was a lot of really good content today for me learning as well. And one of the things that Speaker Rendon talked about was how important that local advocacy is, right? To make sure that you are speaking to your district elected official. And I think that if we can really activate locally and regionally, and then when we need the larger calls to the whole of the Assembly and the Senate and the administration, then we're really poised and ready. So we're gonna build out that model more and more as we go, and we'll share that with everyone and hope that you'll share it and get more people involved. I mean, really the goal is that we've got, like I said, thousands and thousands of people becoming arts advocates. I would say that it hasn't been our strongest suit in terms of being effective as as advocates for the arts in all of us, for whatever reason. And now, maybe the hopeful part is that we can really organize people right now to raise their voice in that way. So that's what I hope we can achieve. Yeah, Angela.
Two quick things. Good job facilitating, Julie, and I really liked the open-ended question that you asked our representatives about really what's the megaphone question, what should we be? And each of their answers was insightful, helpful. But the other thing is, when we convene in person, one of the richest parts of convening in person is those little, water cooler corner conversations, meeting in the hallways. And so this is nice to have this, but it actually happened today with BJ in Sierra County, a county of 3,000 people. She's way up yonder in the pom-pom patch, isolated. She's a self-described Luddite. And just a simple call me, and then we talked. And she just really needed to talk. She needed a human being So it can still happen even in this environment, and we should reach out when we need something, or, you know, help, see if somebody else needs help.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm glad that we could facilitate that. It was great to see her. Sierra County is tiny. So I live in also a rural community. And one of the things also that's interesting in some of the stuff I've been talking to people about is the sort of impact that is different in a rural community for what's going on. You know, a lot of people in our community don't have access to internet. That's one thing. And then also we don't really have the same funding options. We don't have private foundations. We don't have those sort of large corporations in our communities, whether or not they give or not in yours. And we don't get as much typically from the state as well in distribution. And yet in my community in Nevada County, I used to run a performing arts center here. It is critical to our who we are, and not only our economy and all the other aspects of people coming together, and so, you know, it's very worrisome about our rural communities as well, and how we're gonna weather this getting through. So we think about that as well. Let's see, who's this? Sophia, will you introduce yourself? I love your backdrop.
I know, it's music upside down too. So I am the new arts coordinator for Santa Clara County Office of Education. And I have spent I'm a 26-year veteran music director, but I've also worked in San Francisco Unified School District as a VAPA administrator. And then I was just briefly in Elk Grove too, in the arts in Elk Grove School District. So I know a lot, just got deeply acquainted with the Central Valley. So now I'm back at home. I actually live on the peninsula, so it's a shorter commute to San Jose. So yeah, I'm a former board member for the California Alliance for Arts Education, and I'm member at large for the National Guild for Community Arts, doing a lot of racial equity work. And had done a lot of racial equity work in the arts in San Francisco. So just really, you know, grateful for all the state level work that's done around arts education, and, you know, happy to be a part. I saw this. I am also, I taught in San Jose Unified for 15 years, so I know Brendan and have joined the San Jose Arts Advocates. They're a partner of what we call Artspiration, the arts initiative in Santa Clara County Office of Education. So really just grateful to have this forum, especially now where we're sheltering in place. So yeah, thank you for organizing it. You and I have been in the room together, Julie, policy council meetings.
Okay. Yeah. The last one I was super distracted at, because that was the day that, like, and this feels like 100 years ago, where Lorena Gonzalez was announcing $20 million for the arts and one-time funds, and we were like trying to manage that messaging and blah, blah, blah. So I was like trying to sit in that meeting paying attention because I really wanted to know, and then I'm like, I can't, I gotta focus. So and that's sometimes how it goes, right?
Yeah, we're very lucky in California. I feel like we're just having been in national kind of convenings, how much further along we are around arts education and the arts in general. So, you know, just happy to be a part, and, you know, press me into service.
Thank you. Oh my God, don't you worry. But I mean, and kudos to California Alliance for Arts Education and to Create California. And it was so great to have, you know, in my role, which I've only been doing a little over a year, in learning, you know, how important it is that we all work together. And we've got AXO here on the call, and CAM, and then the two in the arts ed world. And it's just, you know, I was just so blown away by just how brilliant all of them are, right? And I just feel so grateful that we have this leadership in terms of, you know, the actual advocacy organizations, because that's really, really critical. You want to see that. So good job, Sarah Weber. and others, and so that's exciting. So thank you. And there was a comment about my glasses, so I'm going to change my glasses because I actually have a bucket of glasses, and I'm going to change them. Okay, here, I'm going to change them. All right.
Cool.
With some others. Somebody said earlier, like at the 10 a.m., which again feels like someone was like, the glare is too much, so that's when I changed my blue ones. But I love these, but whatever. Anyway, enough about my glasses. Julia, you joined us, and I'm going to pick on the people who I can see their video. So Julia, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and if you have any reflections from today?
Sure. Hi, I'm Julia Canavesi. I'm also with San Jose Arts Advocates and a member of Gen Art Silicon Valley, which is a network of emerging arts leaders. And I don't know if there's anyone here. I haven't seen anyone yet, but Cal Now, which is our statewide network of all the emerging arts leaders groups. Met with a few folks last year who made it out for that. And this was just a great opportunity to connect and learn as someone who's very new to any sort of advocacy work. It's all about being a sponge and absorbing things right now. And then seeing where we can go from there. I'm also a dancer in many different dance groups, so it's always nice to be able to move first thing in the morning too for getting ready to sit all day. So,
Julia, were you on all day, or did you jump in and out, or?
I was in most of the sessions throughout the day.
Awesome, great. And was there any one that was like felt the most insightful for you in terms of becoming a more effective advocate?
Definitely the one with the panel of legislators. That was excellent. Just being able to hear from them individually in a more intimate setting than we would normally have was very helpful.
I thought it was hilarious that Senator Allen's bed was unmade. But I kind of really actually appreciated it. Thank you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for participating all day. That's wonderful. Bambi, you said I took the cocktail message seriously, which I truly appreciate. Because that's also very important that we take care of ourselves, if that works for you. So tell us who you are and what your takeaway was today.
Well, I only watched the one meeting just prior to this one, because in the morning I was looking online how to access my pension from the teachers, school teachers fund. Anyways, I thought it was very helpful. I made some notes about, what I learned. And I'm actually on the board of trustees with SJ Dance Co. in San Jose. And I'm also a ballet teacher in Fremont at Rachel's Ballet. And I joined SJ Dance Co. After meeting Gary Masters and Maria Basil at San Jose State. And I'm, trying to promote the dance company because as a ballet teacher, I feel like I need to have places for my students to go to after they've been trained. Where are they going to dance? So that's why I joined the board of SJ Dance Co. And unfortunately, our spring festival was canceled. It was supposed to be next weekend. And we have a big fundraiser coming up in September that we're hoping we'll still be able to produce, because the situation right now, we don't quite know. And so anyways, that's why I joined. I was sent a link by Gary Masters about the meetings today. So that's why I joined in.
I see Chart is very excited about Gary Masters, and that's awesome.
He's a wonderful person. He's a true artist. If you meet him and speak to him, he is a true artist, and he's amazing.
Yeah, I studied with him back in the 90s. He made such a huge influence on my life as an artist, as a person, as an advocate for dance, not just in the studio. He was really, really great. I'm glad that he passed that information on to you.
Was that in New York? Yeah.
Terrific.
It's so exciting to be able to work with him. I was a student at San Jose State. I went back to college when I was 47 to get my degree, and he was very influential and had a big impact on me. And how I felt about being an artist.
I love how San Jose represents. I'm just
Thank you.
Good job, San Jose. I want to give Jessica a chance. She looks like she's. Jessica, did you want to have some add here, please?
Yes, I talking about stay away from the negative, like Ben mentioned earlier. I saw an article that there's a artist. She exhibit the art right at her apartment. So any of you do the exhibition, and do we do any online exhibit lately?
So was the question, are there online exhibit opportunities for emerging artists or for artists without, so yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else on the call know about that specifically? You do?
I suppose
well,
you could certain
it
art
sounds like
leagues.
something you need to start. Yeah, but yeah, we'll take a look for that and we'll let you know.
Create a Facebook page.
Yeah. Rebecca Pearson joined, and we see you, so we're going to pick on you next. Hi, would you just share who you are and what, if you were in part of the sessions today or anything, if you were any highlights or something you'd like to share?
Sure, thank you. First of all, I want to say thanks to the California Arts Council. You guys did an awesome job. I was slated to go to this last year and I didn't get to go. I'm from Hollister, California, work with Jennifer Lane with the San Benito County Arts Council. I'm on the board and vice president currently. I have also a unique position because I'm a teaching artist in the schools as well. We've just started our program this year, and unfortunately it came to a grinding halt. So we're in the midst of working that out and figuring out how to do that from home. There's 7 teaching artists, and we provide art for 3rd to 5th graders in 8 elementary schools in the town. So we've been very excited about that. It's the first art that they've had in this county. I will say that since I've been home, I've just been, I'm kind of a little nervous about teaching online with art because it's not the easiest thing in the world. I tried it with a couple of my former students. I used to teach 1st grade and 5th grade. So I've been trying to try it out with them first, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Also a little bit worried about doing other people's projects and kind of copyright infringement. So it's a little like, you know, if they're the websites that I used to use, then they're now doing their own thing. So I don't really know how to cross over into that. So I think we'll talk about that. We have an artist meeting tomorrow, virtual Zoom meeting. But I have the students, some of my students I've been reading stories aloud to because that's pretty easy and I enjoy it. Their mom just literally, when I was on this call, sent me a text and a picture of her 3 kids doing art. She just keeps telling me, look what they're doing today. They looked out their window and they did art outside their window. So it's really fun to have the kids inspired. And the first Zoom art thing I did with one of my former 1st grade students who's now in 5th grade, she pulled up a project and said, look what I did in art class, which is the program that I'm teaching, but I'm not in her classroom anymore. But she's like doing it at home now, basically the project that the last project they had done. So she's recreating it over and over and teaching it to her little sister. And other cool thing, and then she pulled out this drawing of a perspective drawing, and she goes, I taught my sister this today. And that was another lesson that our teaching artist, Dustin, had done. So it was really cool to see the kids at home incorporating what they learned. I mean, it gives me goosebumps, but anyway, very exciting. They're just carrying on. And I think this crisis has created a very wonderful creative environment in everyone.
It's really a chance for us to really, in a sense, I mean, not to be opportunistic during a very difficult time, but it is really showing how critical we are, right? And I think that is something we need to.
The other night.
Yeah. And I just want to, Rebecca, I just want to clarify, we're not the California Arts Council. So that's okay. And it happens a lot. So that's the state arts agency, right? Yeah. We're the state advocacy organization, and they can't actually advocate technically because they work essentially for the governor. So they are a state arts agency. But
and this was my little thing I did with Cynthia this morning. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, good. Arts are essential. Awesome. That was our 10 a.m. Drawing prompt. And good, share it on social media if you can, and tag us.
Yeah, I
Please.
enjoyed that. So
Excellent, excellent. So who hasn't had a chance to speak that's on the call? I think we've gotten to everyone. Maybe Denise, but Denise, you seem to be muted. I think you commented it.
I did speak earlier.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Okay, I've had a glass of wine, I'll be honest.
No problem. And I saw T. She was on for a little while. So I enjoyed her class this morning. I actually stood up also for a little bit, got my blood moving. Oh, there.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Felt so good. We need to do more of that. So if you guys were to help us to determine kind of what you feel would be helpful in terms of next, would you give us some of your thoughts on what would be helpful in terms of what we should be doing? I mean, obviously I've got lots of what we think, but I'd love to hear from you in terms of what you think. And my fabulous husband is filling up my glass of wine. Yay! I had to put I don't know about you, but I had to put a sign on my microwave that said, don't use the microwave. I don't know what this means, because when they use the microwave, it shuts down or makes my internet go wonky. So I had to put a sign on it that says, do not use the microwave between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The management. Hoping that it would be stronger messaging than mom.
Well, I wanted to jump in with regard to next steps. And I also felt like the session that was the most valuable for me today was the one that actually had our legislators in conversation, meeting the senators and meeting Assemblyman Rendon, hearing about their personal backgrounds, their connections to the arts, Sydney, but they were all in Southern California.
Yeah.
And so they're all people that we copy on the letters that we write and never hear back from. And they probably nod their heads in agreement to whatever we write. But I don't know if it would be possible to put something like that together with Northern California senators and legislators, but that would be great.
Awesome.
I would be very interested in that.
That's great. I think we need to, I think that's sort of the next step in terms of those regional meetings, in a sense, is to actually to facilitate that. I think we went for sort of the low hanging fruit, as it were, in the one we did today, and it was a little bit of a just to see how it goes, right? And I
have to say, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this in a public forum, but you know, some of our legislators at least in the district that I'm in, don't seem to have much background in the arts or much personal interest in the arts. And I think it would be really important for us to keep hammering home the importance of the arts for some of these people and trying to tell more stories so that they have a better grasp. Even, I mean, it's obvious they didn't grow up with an arts background themselves the way some of the people we heard from today did. And of course, that makes all the difference in the world. And that's probably why every one of us who's on this call and who probably participated today is so passionate about the arts. But for the people who don't have that personal experience, it's hard to impart that to them, even if maybe they've been to a couple shows and they felt moved or whatever, that they don't really get it in their soul. And you know, just going back to that picture this morning that the artist drew and the person with the giant soul in the middle of their body, somehow we have to figure out how to impart that feeling to some of our legislators so that they do really feel that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
If I could say something, I went last year to when we were at the Capitol, and one of the things that was really powerful to me is when we went to some of the offices, there were a number of students that went and shared their stories and how literally for some of them it had saved their lives emotionally, and it was really powerful. And I'm thinking a lot of the kids and teenagers who are home right now, you know, again, I don't know with privacy issues and that kind of thing, but if kids could tell their stories to the legislators, I mean, that would be a really powerful tool, again, to put, you know, the faces together, and, you know, kids who, again, maybe were about to drop out of school and then went on to college and in the arts. So anyway, it's just a thought. If there were a way of literally plugging in some of the kids and teenagers who, again, I don't know if privacy issues, if that would be a
yeah, I don't think that's, I mean, I think that's a great, I mean, it's true. Last year we had a number of kids and speak about, we did a sort of Arts Create Impact campaign, and they were given that prompt and they told their stories, and it truly, there were several that said it literally saved their lives. And we know that, right? And so I think that that is important, that we continue to remind our electeds. And I think it's really important that we do it within district. And that's where that local message can come up, where all of you are people who are connected to kids in your communities. And if their parents are willing to let them do it, and that is where you can take them and introduce them to electeds and have them come and tell their story of why that program is so important to them as a lifeline in their community. So I agree with you. And I'll think about ways that we can facilitate that. I do agree, Bean, that we need to do more of those. I mean, honestly, again, to be opportunistic, they are at home, just like the rest of us. They are going to be home till May 4th for sure, which is another 2 weeks. I mean, it's interesting. Rendon is actually in Sacramento. I didn't realize that he had stayed. I could tell by the curtains. I was like, that's not how you live, is it? You live in the capital. It'll be interesting to see if we can get more access again to some. And I think what we're hoping is that there will be more of those. Some of you did, like Brendan, you did your calls today. We'll do more calls, Zoom calls in the next 2 weeks, so you can tell your advocacy messages. Brendan, I'm curious, like, what was your sort of, because part of also why we held back fairly aggressively about setting up meetings right now is partly just because of the sort of timing issue around what is the right messaging with what legislators are dealing with. So I'd love to hear how you guys positioned it based on, I know Ron and I worked on it a little bit, but I'd love to hear how you positioned the message with Chu and then what the response was.
Sure. I mean, I think, it had started off quite general about, the importance of arts in each of our communities and sort of both as a, around civic engagement, around community building, and also around economic opportunity sort of deal. But we did try to kind of, as a sort of knowing that there's so much unknown and uncertainty about where California budget was going to go. We tried to drive home the idea that everybody was, each of the representatives were very aware that organizations, cultural-based organizations, so many of us are really about bringing people together for performance, for exhibition, whatever. It's not only part of our mission, it's part of our business model. It is what we do. So we were hit, immediately by the shelter in place and different directives that came out. But also the idea of that, that how much across the service industries, the hospitality realm, and the connections between the performing arts and other art forms of people coming out, dinner and a show, traveling a little, a hotel stay, spending money, parking, babysitter, etc. And that so many of those are the types of people that are really hurting and really impacted by this. So as you try to get the economy restarted, investments in the arts is a smart way to quickly inject resources into the flow and get it into those things, and that arts groups can be bringing people out to our downtowns, to our areas, to and they will spend money on dinner and tip their waiters and all that sort of thing. So it's trying to drive home this can be a very quick. You don't have to recreate. You don't have to create something new.
That's a good point.
Invest in the arts. We can be really scrappy and nimble about getting stuff up and going, and we have communities that we serve. The quicker we're operating, the quicker people are all engaged with those other hospitality things and spending their dollars. So there was kind of a lot of, I felt a lot of nodding. Yeah, you're right. It's not just about these big industries or something. I think, but there's maybe ways of working strategically with organizations that are about community gathering that could help those that are most directly impacted. So
I love that concept that we don't have to create something new, right? Like that we're here. Hello, use us. We're here. This is what we do. This is how we, we're really good at this. We're really we're trusted in our communities. People look to us for this. And I love that just, it's such a simple concept, but it's so powerful, right? Because I think that they are trying to figure out solutions. And we were talking about this on one of the calls, which is like, how can we be a part of the solution? Not just like help us, but let us help you. And by investing in us, we will, help every aspect of not only the economy, but of our souls, right? So all good.
I didn't get a chance with Kenson Chu. He's a former city council member, so he knows very well our city budget issues and how much, like many cities that ours have resources devoted to the arts. It's really coming out of your, transit occupancy or hotel tax sort of things. And so, wanting to really drive home that idea that, those funds are completely getting hammered at the local level. And, if there was an opportunity for the state to help local folks to sort of almost backfill the TOT as a structure that's already in place to direct resources to arts organizations, maybe that's a way from like federal CDBG to flow.
Yeah, interesting. Go for it, Angela.
Just, none of the three legislators mentioned the economy with respect to our arguments. I appreciate what Brendan's saying a lot. And it reminds me of what Randy Cohen from Americans for the Arts says, no data without story, no story without data. So we have to remember that story is the powerful piece there, persuasive. And then Ben Allen listed, he said, don't separate yourselves. It's not us versus homelessness. I think the other assembly member mentioned it too, but talk about how we can help with logistics, how we can help in medical interventions, talk about enforcement, which for us looks like prevention, and reducing recidivism, and focus on the psychological effects that we can help with through healthy pro-social behaviors, arts and cultural.
Yeah, no, it's all really, really, it was so helpful to hear from them directly. I really, I wanted very practical. I mean, it's great to hear them talk just, about why they believe arts are essential, but it's really important also for us to understand how we can be effective advocates, right? Like, because they are the ones who are hearing from lots of different folks. And so I thought they gave some really good practical advice, which I appreciated. Does anyone have other things that they want to add? I'll be totally honest with you. I'm fading. I'm starting to melt into my computer. It's been a long day. But yes, more cocktails. Well, that's just going to make me go to sleep. But I just want to say a thank you to everyone who joined us today. And this is just the beginning. Let's just look at this as, and I think what's important for all of us to remember is that advocacy is not designated to one day. And I know some of you on this call don't know that for sure and do it all the time. Some of us are newer to it. Some are coming back to it. But, if we can make this a part of our lives and a part of our daily lives and just look at it from a perspective of we are telling our stories are important. And we are saving lives and we are affecting change. And we don't look at it as sort of work, but something that we're passionate about, which I know you all are. I hope that you see it as the beginning and whatever we can do and others like AXO and other arts organizations, advocacy organizations, CREATE and California Alliance. And of course, they just want to mention they do an excellent job of using students to tell their stories. And they just did a Student Voices campaign, for example. So it is definitely being utilized. We're here for you. We're here to whether it's motivate and inspire, or whether it's to give you practical information, or whether it's just to have a drink with you, we're here. And so continue to interact with us, share with us, and stay safe, stay healthy, and know that, we know that the arts are going to save us all. So thank God for the arts.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay. All right, if you don't mind, I'm going to end the
Cheers.
meeting. I love you all. But
I
I'm
need a
gonna-
refill.
B needs a refill, and I got to go
Yep.
see my family. They got to start using the microwave.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Be well.
You
Very
too.
nice to meet you.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye bye.